Hey folks, MangoTownMatt here, got MangoTownTravis as well. This week we are going to continue our exploration of drafts and the many variants that exist within the world of drafts. Today we will be playing Frysk. Frysk is very similar to Frisian drafts. Frisian drafts being essentially a variant of drafts where the capture rules work like this. You can capture forwards, you can capture sideways, you can capture backwards, orthogonally speaking. You can also capture diagonally forwards and backwards. You can basically capture in every single direction. An easy way to remember this is to kind of think about each of the drafts, individual drafts, sort of like a king in chess. Obviously, the general movement is different, but the movement of being able to go any direction for a capture is the same. If that's confusing to you, stay tuned. We're going to figure it out together. Now, what separates Frysk from Frisian drafts is the fact that we only have 5 drafts. So that complicates things a little bit, and that there is much more board to cover. So I would say let's get started. Oh, game over, folks. He did it. He done. And of course, when we're talking about, we are talking just about capture, not about general moves. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is that the moves are still like a standard draft. However, the captures function more like a king from chess. It's one way to think about it.
Not a king from chess.
Well, a king from chess in that you can go orthogonally or diagonally. Only in that way. Everything else is draft able. So, Travis, I'm curious. You exercise pretty regularly and stretch semi-regularly, correct? Yeah. So I guess my question for you, and this is just because I've been trying to think more about what we do when we're not exercising. My question for you is, what do you do anything in terms of like hot or cold for recovery? And do you do anything else that's like not particularly do you do anything else in the vein of like recovery or general well-being that you do specifically to contribute to your ability to exercise?
Shower would be the only thing that's hot and cold.
So do you change back and forth when you shower?
No, not really. I'll usually keep a pretty hot shower and then cold at the end.
Yeah. How long do you go when you go cold at the end?
Depends.
That's true. I do that as well. I will say that I get really frustrated, like at my mom's house, because the water doesn't get cold. The water gets like lukewarm. Whereas like here, it's like actually getting into an ice bath. I was wondering if you were going to be able to do that. I couldn't remember if multiple captures. That's why you should never keep your drafts in a row, folks. Mess them up.
Well, keep all your drafts in one row.
Would have been even better if you'd been able to get all 5 in a single round.
Yeah.
Travis, here's a question. Do you think there's any possibility that AI is going to make its way into existence without like regular people knowing? And let me clarify what I mean when I say that, because I don't just mean somebody created AI in a lab somewhere. Nobody knows about it. I mean, like, do you think that we're going to see like you find out all of a sudden that like Grassburger's been a robot this whole time?
That seems a little less likely.
Yeah, I would agree that it probably would be. I guess the other one that's interesting to think about, I'd say the other one is not a group of anything, just something that's interesting to think about, is like rich people putting tons of money into like grow old forever medicine. Man, could you imagine a world if like the ultra rich created like a way to just live forever, and just like that would be terrible. I don't even know that that's a good idea, honestly. You know the other thing I was thinking about? I was like, man, I bet. So, you know, like we have to worry about climate change, right? Like that's a big issue. Like it's going to be hilarious when shit starts hitting the fan in like 10 to 15 years. And then just like one nuclear weapon gets fucked up. The whole world just like, oh, fuck. You know, you know what this makes me wonder though, Travis? I wonder if this is just how Frysk ends up going most of the time.
I mean, I'm sure it's more even.
Yeah, but like one thing that I've been thinking about in the last round and this one is like from a general strategic standpoint in most board games, you generally don't want to you generally speaking don't want to like have your pieces just completely spread out over the board. There's usually not a particular benefit to doing that. But in the case of Frysk, because you can basically go in whichever direction you want to go, it's like as the minute one person gets a single jump, if your pieces are anywhere near each other, you just get kind of fucked. Oh, Travis, do you know if there are any variants of drafts that are bouncing drafts?
No.
Have you ever played any of those variants on Zoltach?
Yeah. Or actually, no, actually.
Oh, that could be interesting. Or like ones where, for example, I could go from. It's hard to. From H2 and then go up diagonally and end up on like the opposite side of the board on like B4. Could do some pretty cool stuff with that.
Well,
You know, one thing that's good about this, though, Travis, is I think it only allows me to take one piece. 2 pieces. And then I get immediately captured again. Nice.
no, because now you can just walk in.
Yeah, that is true.
There.
But nice in that we didn't have a repeat of last time, which would have just been. It's kind of unfortunate when somebody loses like all of their pieces except for one. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but it makes me not enjoy the game as much. Turkey, turkey, turkey. Well, it's like either lose 3 pieces or lose 3 pieces. Bless you. Or lose probably just 2 pieces and then you get a king. Do you remember, is there a variant of drafts where you can move forwards and backwards and capture Frisian style?
Turkish drafts is probably the one that sounds most familiar.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no. Oh, well, that's simple. Win in 1, Travis. See if you can figure it out.
I can't capture you. What do you mean a win in 1?
Well, I mean, alright, it's technically win in 3. But there's one move you can make that if you make that move, it doesn't matter what I do. It actually, never mind. I may be mistaken. It may not allow you to do that since this is drafts. Dang. Nice. Boy. It would have been funny, though, to end up with just 2 kings. It's kind of no point, really. Nice. I mean, one thing that I'm definitely enjoying about Frysk so far is that it's a quick game. If you had 5 minutes, wow. I was like, great. Then if he moves up to one more, I'll just capture him. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what I do because either way, this next move, well, not entirely in vain, but all right. Do we want to pause and then play some Frysk breakthrough?
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. That's been Frysk. You can play it at Lee Drafts. Now, let me just be very clear. It's leedrafts.org. If you try to go to leedrafts.com, it's like a phishing website. And I don't mean F phishing. I mean PH phishing. It'll be like, your Mac has a ton of viruses. So be mindful. Or search Lee Drafts on Google. Drafts with the GH for all you fancy-tongued folk. Au revoir.